Hey everybody, my name is Kevin Box and I'm here in Santa Fe, New Mexico at the K Contemporary Gallery, and it's springtime and the trees are blooming and the flowers are budding, and I'm excited to give you a little tour of the sculpture garden out here in the backyard. Some of you might be thinking about what you might be adding to your art collection, and a little bit of an indoor-outdoor work might be something on your mind. So we've got a nice selection here from cast bronze and stainless steel pieces like this family tree. There's a cast aluminum piece on the wall, which we have that work indoors and out as well. That piece is called Temple Mandala. It's one of my personal favorites. Coming out into the garden, we're running out. This is one of the last of the edition of rock, paper, scissors. This is cast stainless steel with bronze stone on a steel base. Really nice piece, been a really popular and favorite one of my career. Everybody likes to play rock, paper, scissors, right? I collaborate with a lot of people, so this is an example of a new collaboration with Dr. Robert J. Lang. It's called Bluebird, and it was inspired by a Bluebird Day in Santa Fe, which is what they call a great ski day. This is cast bronze that's powder coated on a bronze basalt. This piece is another collaboration with Dr. Robert J. Lang. It's a phenomenal feat of origami. He folded this bird originally out of a single uncut square of paper, and I transformed that original paper model into cast stainless steel. It's a very small edition of 12. I believe this is one of the last ones that's available, and it's on a beautiful basalt character stone. One of my real favorite works of collaboration with Robert. So I like to collaborate with my wife as well, both in life and in art and in the studio. And this is a piece that we did together called Sway With Me. And it has cast stainless steel painted origami cranes on a cast bronze olive branch swing. And there's a little stainless cable that can hang it. This is a great indoor-outdoor piece. It has a little bit of a kinetic motion to it it'll move in the breeze. And it's something that I'll never forget the day sitting with her on the back patio, sort of swinging back and forth talking about making this piece and coming up with the name. So I'm in the backyard of K Contemporary Gallery in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and they have this wonderful sculpture garden that displays a lot of my work. And I'm going to talk a little bit about TATANKAS, which is a really special piece for me. It's one of the first collaborations that I did with Dr. Robert J. Lang. He folded this originally out of a single uncut square of paper using a technique called duogami. So one side of the paper was silver and the other side was white. There were only one piece of paper, no cuts, and he was able to engineer the fold so that half of the bison would show one side of the paper, the other half would show the other side of the paper, except for the horns and the eyes, which continues to kind of blow me away to this day. This is a very small edition. It's a piece that we did originally for one of our Origami in the Garden exhibitions, and it was so popular that I decided to go ahead and make a few pieces in this stainless steel edition. I only made one because it's such an expensive and labor-intensive process. Out of the 6, I only made one out of the 6 at this point, but the only one that's available is here at K. And it's a really exquisite casting in museum quality stainless steel. The front of the bison is powder coated, and each of these little areas were masked in order to reveal and sort of show the truth of the material in the stainless steel. This is to be number 1 here at Santa Fe's K Contemporary Gallery. This piece is cast museum quality bronze with the patinaed sticks. It's all made from, originally cast from olive branches, which are a symbol of peace, and then all the cranes are cast in stainless steel and painted so that they'll stay white over the longevity of the piece's life. I love to use different sized cranes in this piece and others because it sort of symbolizes the different family members, the different age, the different people that might be involved in a family, or it can be friends as well. But I created this piece with the 2 larger cranes in the middle, so it's sort of family flocking around them, and the green of the trees, the green of the olive leaves, to me is just so symbolic of life and the continuation of generations. this is a legacy piece and it'll be around for generations. I'm here to talk about one of my absolute favorite designs, one of the earliest works that I ever did, design-wise, called Folding Planes. And it's really the story of a piece of paper dreaming of flying, which I think has a lot of metaphors and a lot of layers to how we can relate to that. So I grew up making these, and I went myself through school, through a process of becoming, and I wanted to become an artist. I'm an entrepreneur, I own a business, and I made a lot of things out of nothing besides this sculpture. And for me, the symbolism of starting with that blank page and doing the work, taking the steps, making the folds, and slowly seeing it come together. Knowing that sometimes in the middle we're awkward and there's these stages where you're not finished, but you have to stick with the goal. You have to have your goal in mind, and you have to reach for the sky with that goal. And once you have achieved that thing, once the 7 folds are done, or the 7 steps, or the process, whatever it is that you're working on, here's this finished product at the top, this paper airplane like taking off. And yet that's not even the end of the story. Because what do you do after you've got your pilot's license or gone to school and got your degree? You do that, you live that. And so the composition, the way that it points up, the way that it sort of flies off, and the implications that it has, to me is really inspiring. And it's really one of my favorite pieces. It's really like me, and it relates to my growing up and my upbringing. Today I'm going to talk about rising cranes. It's a really fond piece for me. It's something that I have a lot of pleasure in creating. I've been making this sort of composition for a number of years, and what I love about it is every time I weld the piece together, it's different. You know, there's no way to really replicate a perfect example. And every time I select another boulder, I get to walk through a collection of rocks and really look at the surfaces and look at the shape and think about how it's gonna prop up the piece and hold it. It's a nice combination of natural feeling material and stone and shape with this beautiful sort of contemporary look, and the surprise of seeing paper origami cranes flying in a garden. The title of this is Rising Cranes, and the piece itself is cast in museum quality stainless steel. It's powder coated, so it's an incredibly durable product and finish. And the reason primarily for that is when I first began casting and developing this technique of capturing paper in bronze, which was the metal I had access to, I could do this, but the bronze was so soft, being mostly copper, that it would just bend. And I would go through all the work of finishing a piece like this, and then in moving it or just touching it, I would accidentally bend it and ruin it. And it was very frustrating. So as I grew in my career and had access and found stainless steel, which is one of the most structurally sound and strongest materials, and found out that we could pour it into the same ceramic shell that we could pour bronze, I was thrilled. And the fact that we're able to capture the thinness and the complexity of the shapes in any metal, but in stainless, is a tremendous achievement. And so and now I have this very strong, rigid, it's like building a bridge, you know, it's like I don't worry about these things anymore. And I can really lift the pieces up and keep welding more and more cranes. But I tend to make this size, again, because it's just a little bit easier to maneuver. It fits in a lot of different spaces. It's a nice garden size piece. We've done these inside, installed them outdoors in Japanese gardens and people's courtyards. But I love the way, and you can see how the white just pops against the native landscape and the nature, the green of nature. And I love how it just glows. And at night, the slightest moonlight or even a little solar light will just illuminate these things and really, really take off. So I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit more about my work and about this wonderful piece, and thank you for your time.